Welcome to my channel. This is a reading for Sagittarius for the month of April 2020. Career and finance, although I do combine general, some cards are for just the general energies surrounding the month of April 2020. And given that many people are going through some challenges right now, financially as well as emotionally, I do try to make the readings a little bit longer now as well, just because I do have more time. I am also under the same quarantine that most of the world is at this time. So I did try to flesh out some of the details and pull clarifiers. So I am using several decks here. I'm using the Sacred Awakening deck. I'm using the Fortune Reading deck. The Sacred Awakening deck is by Sarah Esther Felix, and the Fortune Reading deck is by Sharina Starr, as well as the Archangel Power Tarot deck, and that's by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. And I also am using the Steampunk Tarot, which I don't generally use very often, but I really like that deck as well. I'll probably use that more in future readings. And then I'm using Angel Therapy, Doreen Virtue, as well as the Goddess Guidance Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue also. So I'll just get right into it. As I said, the layout's a little lengthy, and I realize for those that aren't, don't have the time to sit through it, for sure, check back and get some of the more detailed parts of the reading as you do have the time. But for the moment, I'm just going to start with the main cards, which are the two larger ones at the back. I'm a little further back from my reading today, so it's going to be harder for me to reach everything. But I do have the Flowers card pulled, which is a part of the Fortune deck, as well as the Chariot. So I'll start with the Flowers deck. So again, these are just general energy cards for the month of April 2020 for Sagittarius. Career and finance will be the Rider-Waite deck, but the other cards will just be general energies surrounding the month of April. I just off the cuff, I did just take a quick glance over a lot of these cards here, and for sure I do see a lot of issues surrounding monetary issues there, as well as there is still relationship issues coming through here very strongly. Something about a decision to be made. So I just wanted to make reference to that. That there is for sure the challenges financially, but it does end on a positive note. So even though there is a lot of struggle throughout the month of April, overall, you are being told to conserve, and for sure what most people are doing anyway, to conserve your financial resources. Make some decisions, be practical, hang on to your money, and certainly don't exhaust your resources by helping other people to the point where you are at a point of loss and losing your stability. Because, clearly that would not be advantageous all around. So that's just sort of the general gist of it. There was also a lot of cards I see here that related to relationship issues. So there's something being taxed there, and I don't mean literal tax. I mean taxed as in there's some emotional relationship issue that has either come to an end or is going through some kind of a transition or change. So that was just the general overall energy that I was picking up from the cards, just to give you a quick rundown. Okay, so starting with the Flowers card, which again, that's the Fortune deck. So the Flowers card says, be generous, success and emotional fulfillment are yours. So again, be generous, but don't be, to the point where you are leaving yourself at a huge deficit. So that was the Flowers card at the very back there. So that card is all about abundance, being grateful for what you have. And, if you get the chance to spend some time outdoors in your backyard or whatever, clearly heading down to the neighborhood coffee shop or whatever is out for most people, with the contamination spreading so easily through touch and all of that. You don't want to put yourself at risk. But again, helping other people out is a great thing. But flowers represent beauty. So this card is really just about you being positive or doing your best to be positive and trying to find some happiness, in amongst the whole of the situation. So, maybe take a bath or do something for yourself, purely for yourself, to benefit and help you to pick yourself up. Because as I said, a lot of people are finding that they're restless at home, don't know how to deal with things. Even the lines I find sometimes can be a little tied up with people still trying to make contact socially. Okay, so the other part to this card is that in terms of relationships, flowers are tokens of love and recognition, and it's also about that warmth and understanding that that you can bring, and that cheer that you can bring to a relationship. So be generous with your joy, as much as time and energy are important. Just bringing a good attitude to the table is a really good thing to do at this time, with so many people struggling. And certainly, try to pay more attention to your divine energy, because that divine energy is where you'll also get your answers. So the more that you struggle, the more you stay in your head, and it's difficult to find a resolve. But if you ask for divine guidance and you calm yourself, you open the channels for those answers to come through, and you suffer less. So in terms of career and money, it does, foretell of successful new projects that are underway. So it doesn't mean April means you're on the go and you're ready to start. It does mean that that's where you're starting to think about things. Maybe it's you thinking about new ways to create or generate money, seeing that a lot of businesses are starting to close down or pull back. Given the circumstances, maybe people are starting to operate more online businesses, or looking for more ways to earn money on that front. So again, in terms of money, the flowers card bodes well for thinking about new projects and things that can become a reality. So it's that fulfillment of dreams that can become a reality. So that can also speak to things on a more mundane, practical level in terms of jobs. So those that are searching for jobs may find that, they get a lead on something in the newspaper or whatever that indicates that, that there is some money to be made or had. And again, that could be an online search that you find something that you could just make a little extra cash on through that. So again, your upbeat, enthusiastic, energy and your positive thoughts will be well rewarded if you pursue things with the right frame of mind. The Chariot card also speaks to that. So, the Chariot card again is part of the same fortune deck, and it's about charging ahead with confidence, stay strong and focused. So that is a card that is indicating you're actually a force to be reckoned with right now. So the time is right now for you to start making plans for your future and laying firm foundations. There is some kind of spiritual transformation that has been going on for you that is helping you to triumph over your difficulties and successfully pursue your goals. So again, this is the general energy around April. So things start to overlap throughout the year. They never just become April, you get the job. May, you're all of a sudden a millionaire. June, it doesn't work that way. It is layerings of energy. So the things are starting to present themselves in the month of April in this way for you, that you have some momentum. You are listening to your spiritual guidance, and you are able to find some of those answers to pursue your goals successfully. So it does indicate that you do have some struggles ahead, though. There is some stiff competition, and clearly because of the conditions, that speaks to it right there, of what we're all generally dealing with on that front. But know that your determination and your newfound confidence, because you have been listening to your spiritual advice or that inner gut feeling, it is letting you know that you do actually have the confidence to win. So you can beat out those odds. So this is your time. So start making steps toward making those changes now for the month of April. It says that you will command respect. You'll be more in control of the people that you want to be involved with as friends and lovers. This is a time where you're stronger and you're more able to establish and maintain personal boundaries. So you're driving away any toxic energy, users, abusers, or controlling or domineering relationships, and getting them out of your life. You are now back into a place of empowerment, and you're commanding more respect, and you're definitely more in control of your life, and that is speaking to things on a personal level as well as on the career front. It also indicates that you could be thinking about what your life purpose is in this regard. So, The card itself, in terms of career, represents finding your life purpose and overcoming money and career difficulties and for sure victories. But it does require you to use a certain amount of aggression to reach those heights of success and to attain what it is that you wish for in life. But you do have a powerful aura that surrounds you right now, and you need to be more assertive for you to attain that long-term goal. So again, that's just the general energies for the start of things for April. Well, just for the overall of April. But it does definitely speak to you having some transformation, some self-empowerment, and you're definitely creating some boundaries around relationships, and you're being more resourceful by the sounds of it, and that you're actually able to beat out some of the competition. Okay, so moving on to the next two cards, which are part of the Sacred Awakening card, or a deck. So that would be Love, and then you have the other card, which is Trust. And I know the bottom of the card is a little not visible, but I will tell you that it is the word. It is the card Trust. If I move, my camera's going to shift. A little unstable surface I'm on right at the moment. So anyway, the Love card in itself is just that. So it's about you, for the general energies of the month of April. There is clearly something that's coming through in terms of the love front. So you may have felt some kind of deep betrayal. Something has left you feeling that something has left you anyway in terms of love. But just to remember, love expands your consciousness, and love expands, period. So something to be aware of is, love is something that can reside in many things, friends, family, all of that, not just in terms of a relationship. But it is also something where the most empowering and the truest place of love comes from within, for sure. When you love yourself, you start to see it in others, and you feel that new depth of connection, because when you know true love, you radiate it. So love really has no demands. It has no agenda. Love doesn't control. It doesn't create fear in you. It just wants to express itself. So peace and love, as they say, guides the planet, guides our purpose. And when you see that in all of the things that people come together and unite to share in, you can develop a new appreciation for what love really means. And I mean that in terms of, people becoming more open and readily willing to help others. Again, with time, energy, like with some of the stores, they're opening for seniors at specific times, 6 to 7. So because they are at such high risk of contagion, that kind of thing. So it's certainly, being aware of those around you and knowing what they truly need. Trust, but also knowing that for yourself. So the Trust card is about, you're getting whisperings, nudgings from the universe to trust more in somebody else than in yourself. So whenever you look outside for your answers and verification, you're really verifying that you don't trust yourself. You're just confirming that. So just remember that trust starts within you, and it grows through your loving relationship with spirit and with yourself first. So listen to that inner voice, and just make sure that you practice it on a regular basis so that you trust your decisions and you're establishing trust with yourself. There is no lying or misleading or manipulation in any form when it's you trusting in you. So trust in what you know and live it. Whether other people are untrustworthy or not, that is about you trying to see something in them that they may not be ready to journey into. So when you trust in yourself and you're true to yourself, you live by your values and your belief systems, regardless of whether or not you take an impact from their betrayal, you're still true to yourself, and the journey is theirs to learn as much as it is yours about setting boundaries. So again, it feels like there was some kind of love betrayal that's happened on this front for you, but again, nothing that you can't overcome. So let's go into the Steampunk cards. We're in the corner there, and I know that you can't really see them, but it is the Five of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles, and that is just, again, overall general energies. Normally when you read them independently, the Ten of Pentacles is, card of abundance and, wealth and that kind of thing, and happiness and all of that coming to you. But they're really just, one is clarifying the other here. So with the Five of Pentacles, it's the overall energy around the month of April is that, you're obviously in a time where things are challenging for you. So it is hard times, and it's certainly, it's speaking to a physical need where you're finding some difficulty here with that card. And it is surrounding your money because the Ten of Pentacles is the clarifier there. So it describes that time of physical need where money is lacking. Your health might be in question, but again, there's nothing foreboding about it other than you're feeling some stress around that area. It does speak to those basic survival needs that, perhaps are not being met at this time in the way that you normally would have had them, met them, in the way that you normally would have conducted your life. It does bring to the forefront a lot of questions about how to improve the situation. So again, that's where you need to rely on Spirit to help you to resolve those questions and answers and pull through it. So, and again, at the end of the reading, it does indicate that you are pulling through it, but you are having to use a strategy to get there. Okay, so next I will read the cards here for Goddess Guidance Oracle cards, and that would be Ishtar, Mother Mary, and Bast. Again, those cards are general energy cards. So, the card of Bast is about being independent. So your independence is a foundation for your strength and success. It makes references to the cat-like energy that are fiercely independent, and they also need a lot of affection and playful companions. So, just to remember to balance your social interactions with solitude. And at this time, I guess you pretty much are in solitude. But you still can connect on Facebook or whatever it is, whatever social media, you relate to, Instagram, that kind of thing. There's still ways to connect with people and interact. So while you may be asking others for their opinion on something, ultimately you have to make your own decisions. So this card really speaks to spending time alone, giving yourself permission to play, and ask your own needs to be met. Figure out what you need from yourself to get through this. Make your own decisions. Pay attention to a cat as well. Could be sort of thrown in there as well. But the next card is the Ishtar. Let's read Ishtar. Sorry, that was Bast. Let's go to Ishtar. So the Ishtar card is again about boundaries, and that was also spoken to with the earlier fortune cards. It's about loving yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy. So it's a card that lets you know not to give up on yourself. At this time you're probably very tired and resentful in helping others, and you're not really truly helping them if you're sort of injecting that toxic energy of resentment into the help that you're giving. So no one really benefits. So it's really just saying step back, provide some boundaries, reassess the situation, and let others recognize that you have some boundaries so that they respect you. And it's okay to brainstorm and try to figure out some ways around resolving things for others. But again, in the grand scheme of things, don't lose all of your resources in the process in that contribution. So it's about teaching others healthy behavior. And so again, you might be feeling like you're giving a little bit too much. It is a time for you to be more assertive, and don't do things out of guilt or obligation is really what the card speaks to with Ishtar. So the other card is the Mother Mary card, and that is talking about expecting a miracle. So it's really about having the faith that your prayers have been answered, or that they have been heard and they will be answered. Have some faith. I know things may look frightening, but really what's essential is you taking the steps necessary to keep your mind and your heart filled with faith. Don't give up. The card is telling you not to give up on yourself or other people. Keep the candle of faith burning within your soul, and just to eradicate that darkness and that feeling of despair, because you make others stronger when you are in your own power as well. It strengthens not only yourself, but the entire world. So it's about letting go of those worries and giving things over to the divine to help you to come up with the answers. It's about keeping your thoughts positive. because you're in a period of spiritual healing there as well. So again, expect that miracle. Shifting over to the ear chakra and the cut your cords card. That one is actually that's the angel cards. So angel therapy cards from Doreen Virtue. So I'll start with let's start with the ear chakra. So that one is about you starting to pay attention to sounds, music, words, external things that are happening within your mind, because these are messages that are coming through from the angels or the divine, whatever the angels are, the divine means to you. So they're trying to get your attention right now. They've heard what you've asked for, and they're trying to take that appropriate action and synchronize things. So again, you're hearing things in repetitive ways through song or a conversation that's overheard, or through text messages, maybe even on an advertisement. You're seeing certain keywords that seem to stand out more than others. Some stranger may out of the blue appear, with reassurance or words or things that you just keep hearing in your mind. But remember, messages from angels and spirit are always positive and trustworthy and loving and constructive. So just again, to listen to those messages, because they are trying to tell you something really important at this time. And again, with the cutting the cords, that speaks to clearing away old attachments to fear, things that stem from old relationships or destructive patterns. So again, it's about that negativity that's connected to a past relationship or interfering with a situation that you've inquired about. It's about toxic energy anyway that is needing to be dismissed. So again, it's about fear within a relationship, and that you need to and that fear could be, relationships that you had either with parents or old, outdated modes of thought. It could be siblings, lovers, any kind of connection, clients, that kind of thing. Anything that you had a significant shared relationship with, you're being told to rid yourself of some of the toxic energy there. Things that are draining your energy, that might be behind your physical pain that you're feeling as well at this time. So again, that's just general energies for the month of April for Sagittarius, career and finance. So moving into the Archangel Power card. So there's 3 of them there. They did fall out together. One of them, I believe, was pulled, but the other came out as well. So we've got the Queen of Raphael. We also have the 2 of Michael, and then the 3 of Michael. The fact that you have a 2 and a 3 consecutive means there's some kind of progression there. 2s are generally about balance. Finding balance and trying to, get through a trying time makes sense to me. So I'll start with the 2 of Michael here. So the 2 of Michael is over here in the corner, and that one speaks to it will all feel better. Make a choice. So it is about that indecision, stalemate, some kind of stagnancy. You need to make some kind of a choice, and you're struggling with that decision. You're either overanalyzing the situation, just hoping it'll go away, but something about your heart is in conflict with your mind, and you just need to make a choice. So you're exhausting yourself, and you're creating unnecessary stress. You need to trust your ability to make that wise, intuitive decision. So a solution, it says, is quite possible, but you'll need to make some kind of a compromise. So you need to look for the middle ground. Even when it's just a temporary fix, it will get things moving again. And it could also speak to you suppressing some emotions there as well. And again, you also have the 2 of Swords. I know I saw it here somewhere else as well. But you also have the 2 of Pentacles, which is really still about finding balance again there. Oh, I thought I saw the 2 of Swords in there. Okay, anyway, well, moving on. I don't want to delay things too much longer. So again, with the other card, the Queen of Raphael, or actually maybe we should stay consecutive with the 3 of Michael, because that is the card following, and that one also speaks to you growing in a situation or growing from this situation. So you are growing from this situation during these challenging times. It's important to take that time to heal. You do not have to do it alone. Forgive everyone that's involved, including yourself, for actions or choices that you may see as having been unkind or in error. Time truly does heal all those wounds, and a new perspective, could emerge really from this. And you see things in a different light, and you'll become a stronger person over time because of this challenge. So it's time to release the past and any disharmony or anything that's relating to your heart area that you found difficult to accept. So the Queen of Raphael is, again, over here about that understanding and that giving and patience. It's about your heart is your greatest strength, and it's about expect relationships with others to develop to a new level. So it's the perfect position to help somebody else understand their own feelings, and it's an immense love of home and family. So any psychic or intuitive information that is coming through at this time is completely reliable. In terms of people, it's about someone who's wise, kind, loving, nurturing person, could be you or someone else around you, that has the ability to solve problems before they occur because they're relying on their psychic, spiritual understanding of things. And I mean, it could even speak to a psychologist, or again, on a more negative side, somebody who's just giving too much. But it is about that unconditional love and that need for self-care. So lots coming through on taking that time out for yourself as well, and not to overextend. So getting into the reading itself, again, we start with the Queen of Pentacles, moves into the King. These are generally people that are involved in your life, but again, so it looks like there's a lot of people involved here. You also have the Queen of Cups, and you do have something in terms of love relationship with the Two of Cups, and again, another two about seeking balance, that kind of thing. Seeking balance around money is what's happening there. But you do have the Ace of Cups, which is also coming through as, new opportunities and things coming through for you. And that was clarified by the Eight of Cups and the Queen of Cups. So again, those are cards about moving away from problems and difficulty, even though you are definitely going through that for the better part of April, because I do see the Five of Cups here, feeling that loss, and again, clarifier with the Death, but it is coming to an end with the Death, as well as the Seven of Wands. You're battling it out, you're taking on the challenge. You've got the Two of Pentacles, you're juggling quite a bit. And then again, you also have the Justice card, and then there is some reference to the Magician and the Fool. You've got inner, which, you're manifesting some justice there for yourself. But there's also the Five of Wands. I'm just doing a really quick general read on this, and then I'll go more specific. And then the Five of Wands is again about you battling those inner demons. You've got be strong, and then also with the King of Cups, taking a practical, mature attitude while you're trying to go through this difficult time. Pay attention to the details. And again, another wand, a King of Wands, could be your energy or someone else around you. But you do have the Happiness card at the end of the deck, and that is clarified by the Page of Pentacles, which means that things are going to be okay. I did pull a few advice cards with the Ace of Wands, the King of Swords coming through, then with a message, and then you've got the Knight of Wands about you being defensive, but also about the Four of Pentacles, and those are really about new opportunities and things coming through. Fire energy is fast. And again, that was the Four of Pentacles over there. Four of Pentacles speaks to, again, finding balance, but also hanging on to your money. And I do have clarifiers. I know they're not in full range here, but clarifiers for the Ace of Wands, which were the Eight of Wands, as well as that was where the Two of Swords were. The Two of Swords, about that stagnancy and making a decision. Eight of Wands are about coming through with a quick decision message to let you know you need to make a decision. And the Ten of Swords is about overcoming those difficulties, death of a cycle. And certainly the Three of Pentacles is kind of that master craftsman number. But again, I'll go through with more specifics and what that all means. So again, we'll start with the Queen of Pentacles. Pentacles, again, is all about, earthly things. So it's really about money. It's speaking to things that kind of revolve around practicality. And it is, whether this is your energy or someone else, the Queen of Pentacles as a person relates to somebody who's home-loving, someone who's there for everyone, who's nurturing, dependable, resourceful, creative, that kind of thing, and somebody who's able to manifest security. So it could speak to a Capricorn energy. It's somebody who's a multitasker and supports the family. In terms of money, it is an excellent omen, that prosperity can be coming to you. But again, I feel that this is more related to a person versus a money situation, because it's not been clarified, with any, there's no cards around it that indicate that it's money coming forward just yet. So beginning of April is still about, you just about, again, that resourceful person. I would say just at this time, just to be resourceful and to try to maintain that level of security. And again, you do have the King of Cups coming through. King of Cups speaks to emotion. It's also about somebody who's quite calm, who's stable, diplomatic. Somebody who's wise could speak to your energy, or someone else who's a supportive leader. It takes a calm approach in crises, and somebody who is, could represent a father figure. But again, it's someone that's there for guidance and has controlled emotion, and rather than leading by instinct. So it's somebody who's really diplomatic, that kind of thing. And again, because it's coupled with the Queen of Pentacles, I mean, this card really does speak to, you being charitable or generous as well, but it's also telling you that you have to accept the reality of your finances. So, that card is so closely tied to the Queen of Pentacles that I would say that is really what's happening there. Is this just letting you know that, it's okay to be charitable, but you have to accept the reality of where things are at this time, not to overextend. So again, you do have the Four of Cups, and then it's clarified by the Five of Cups. So again, that's a progression of fears. So the Four of Cups is again about that emotional time, feeling loss and, maybe even victimized to a degree. The Four of Cups is really about you being you're doubting yourself. You're being introspective. You're feeling hurt and defensive. You're hesitating on something. You're just feeling unfulfilled at this time, and it's really about withdrawing, basically. So you might be taking things a little too personally about something. Don't know if that relates to your love life or however, or relationship, business, family, whatever it is. But again, with the progression clarified with the Five of Cups, it does speak to a loss or disappointment, some kind of lost opportunity or feeling abandoned. Things didn't turn out as lucrative as you'd hoped. You're seeing only the losses and not the gains, or you're feeling unloved and it's time to let go. So maybe it is possibly a marriage that you're not necessarily happy with, or too much of it depended on you. But it also speaks to an inability to make up your mind, and you just want to escape. You just feel like you just want to take off, and you're focusing too much on the negative with this card. So it really does speak to just a change of plans, and just remember to embrace the change. Realize that there are resources out there. You just have to open up your mind to it, relax, take a bath, and let the divine start to bring that information in for you. There are answers, there are solutions, and you don't know what the solutions are until you actually get out there and start asking and making the calls. So, and even going online for resources, to help you to figure out what those questions are that you need to ask. Sometimes in asking all of the bad negatives, you figure out how to ask the right questions, because somebody, as they report a story or as they report details, will let you know that they went through this agency, and this agency told them this, in their search, and the problem that they underwent, they found a remedy for. So moving on to the Queen of Cups, again, that card does speak to intuition, is very accurate at this time. It can refer to a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and again, it doesn't have to be, it's just the general energies of the card. And it's somebody who's mature, intuitive, sensitive, wise, virtuous, somebody who's very self-aware, somebody who gives that unconditional love. It's somebody who, queens are leaders, and as much are kings. So these are really quite strong people and energies that are coming through. And it does speak to, being more compassionate with yourself as well, and being tolerant of others, and, that achievements are possible. You just have to let go of anger and be more emotionally understanding. So in terms of a person, as I said, it's somebody who's giving that unconditional love, but in terms of an event or a situation, it can be the person's just too emotional and in their head as well at this time. So that could also speak to you. But it's really about, in terms of a person, again, it could be speaking to someone who likes to write, somebody who's very self-expressive, somebody who enjoys music and literature and things of beauty and all of that stuff, who can be highly imaginative and romantic and creative and all of that. So, but again, I feel it's just somebody being perhaps too wrapped up in their problems. It is followed by the Two of Cups. And again, with the Two of Cups, I mean, that does speak, a two is again about seeking that balance, but it is also about soulmate situations. It's also about, relationships. So again, that could speak to a person. It could actually speak to a relationship, seeing that it's so close to this Queen of Cups. It is about employment as well and about contracts. It does signify some kind of a business deal coming through. It is clarified by, sorry, I've forgotten the card. It is clarified by the Six of Cups. So I will, with the Six of Cups, it does speak about a family unity and happy memories and partnership and a healing connection. So because it's clarified by that, I would say this is more to do with that. But again, I mean, as a side note, it does signify employment of some sort and some kind of contractual relationship there. But again, it does speak to forgiveness. It can speak to harmony and cooperation within a relationship. It can speak to just relationships that are, just as I say, splitting a power, being balanced in some way, working together. So moving on, we have the Nine of Pentacles, and that's clarified by the Two of Wands. Wands are about, it's a faster moving energy. The Nine of Pentacles usually speaks to independence, but I don't get that as part of the reading on this one, because the clarifier is the Two of Wands. But I do feel that it does speak to there being some kind of, energy moving through that relates to some kind of financial security here. So the financial security with the Two of Wands tells me that there is something that is opening up for you. So it's not all doom and gloom or anything like that, because the Two of Wands is about achievement. It is about, waiting for the results. It's about something. It is about sitting back and kind of powering through, but it's like some kind of partial success. That's what I would say. That's the word I'm looking for. You're not, feeling fully independent because the card is clearly, but you are getting some kind of achievement with the Two of Wands, but it's like a partial success. So something that is good advice is coming through, some kind of, employment, maybe a part-time job, I don't know. But again, it is a card that's a clarifier. The Two of Wands does speak to a new job. So I feel it is something related to that front. But it is a card of also being patient. And again, you might be coming up with some new ideas for finding that employment, something along that line. But it does also speak to the time is right. So be inventive, be different, take the initiative, which the other cards were also saying to you as well, that there is some kind of decision that's about to be made soon. So moving on from that, we do have the Ace of Pentacles. And again, I guess that's a little further over for you to see, but you do have the Ace of Pentacles. And again, that is clarified by the Eight of Cups. And it is also, I pulled an additional card just because even though it's telling you that you're moving away from problems with the Eight, the Queen of Cups has come up more than once here. So I get the feeling that this Queen of Cups is a pretty significant person in this layout. But the Ace of Pentacles, as I say, on its own is, really speaking about prosperity and reward and new opportunities, and you're on some kind of a new journey, a new beginning, stability, recognition, that kind of thing. However, because it is clarified with the Eight of Cups and the Queen of Cups, it is more directed toward walking away from opportunities. So it's about some kind of disillusionment that you felt. And and I feel that it was some kind of disillusionment that you were walking away from in terms or in reference to this Queen of Cups. So maybe something, you're creating some boundaries there, or you're completely walking away from it, don't know. But it feels like you are either, removing yourself to pull back and self-preserve, and this other person has to manage their world at this time, self-manage. But again, I feel it's just a card of pulling back And I sort of feel that throughout most of this reading, even though April is telling you to be more aggressive in what you want, I think what's really being said here is you haven't been forthright about your needs, and you haven't been clear about your boundaries. So I think those are the things that need to be stated more so, and be more resourceful, and that you will win out in doing so. And in creating those boundaries, etc. So again, you also have, as I said, you had the Four of Cups above, clarified by the Five of Cups, but you also have the Five of Cups again. So the Four of Cups before was the Rider-Waite deck, but it was clarified with the Five of Cups with another deck. And again, you have the Death card under that Five of Cups, as well as the Seven of Wands. So, I mean, the Five of Cups, again, you know, it was all that energy that I mentioned before about, you know, feeling loss and focusing too much on the negative and projecting your fears. But because it's clarified with the Death card, it really speaks to an ending to that self-pity and that loss. And you're letting things go, you know, that feeling of being unloved or an inability to make up your mind, and that desire to escape things is now disappearing. So you are moving into a period where, with the Seven of Wands, again, the wands are really about that energy of being, you know, getting ready to battle, take on the battle, you know, which, you know, a lot of people are doing at this time. And it does speak to illusion as well. So maybe there was some illusion that you were under with this person, something you thought was happening that really wasn't quite as you expected. But it does speak to feelings and being defensive and feeling a need to assert yourself and get your point across, your point of view across. So it can be just that time where you feel misunderstood. So the Seven of Wands, again, is about deeper fears and doubts and all of that criticism, and, you know, could be even self-criticism, but it's also about asserting your needs and your rights. And there's lots of that information coming through for you, that you need to be more direct in your approach with some people in your life. And again, you do have quite a few people interacting here in this reading. So Two of Pentacles, moving on, is about that time about, again, finding harmony and balance and profit and loss. And it's about, you know, watching for obstacles and being flexible and adaptable. Can speak to somebody who's working two jobs, or it can speak to working on many projects. It can speak to several sources of income, or you're having to find several sources of income to survive. You know, in terms of, you know, juggling those options, you're still going with the flow here. So, you know, you're still okay. It is clarified again with the Justice card. So I'll pull that forward so you can see. Again, it's clarified with the Justice card, and the Two of Pentacles and the Justice card is about cause and effect. It's about balancing those decisions and adapting to changes. It was also clarified by the Magician, and, you know, with that card added in, as well as the Fool, all clarifying, it does mean, you know, the Magician really is somebody who maintains a certain amount of dignity in that professional mannerism. You know, somebody who is looking for clarity and truth, and they're trying to manifest that into their life. They're trying to find, you know, the truth of a situation. And the Fool, of course, is about also finding good balance. So you are actually finding a good balance at the end of all of that. You are being able to speak to... It's also about being open to magical beginnings, is how some would reference that card, the Fool card. But it's also, again, these are all clarifying the Two of Pentacles, but it's also about the spirit of the law, not the letter of the law. So you are looking for the truth and the clarity of some kind of situation, and I suspect it has to do with your relationship, just because it seems to be pretty predominant here in lots of people in this reading for April. You do have the Five of Wands here, and again, Wands is really about those inner battles, and the Five is you kind of fighting yourself and frustrating circumstances, you know, things that you're struggling with, and competition and rivalry, and you might be unhappy with work and clash of personalities, just inner conflict. But you are also, you know, standing up for what's important to you with that card. But it's, and you are also being told, but you are feeling challenged and persecuted on some level here, but you're also being told to be strong. So, in a lot of ways, it can also be quarreling over nothing. So, I mean, weigh that out as you will. But with the Strength card, you're being told to stand in your power, try to take back charge of your life again here, and again, have a mature attitude with the King of Cups. So it's really important about being practical, not falling under illusions, being grounded in your decision making. And again, the Strength card is really about, it's a promise to yourself, that you're able to remain stable. It's about you creating your own balance. It is about that inner strength. That's what word I'm looking for here. It's about you taking control of your life, basically. But it's about that endurance and standing up for yourself also. So again, be courageous, stand up for yourself, use your inner strength, master those raw emotions to calm yourself as well. That inner world sometimes can get out of hand, especially during really trying times. But again, it's still positive. Moving forward to the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles, again, is about you looking after the details. So you're still working on things. It's not, you're still, moving ahead. It is about being disciplined. You are moving ahead with this card. It's not, you in any way being restricted. You're just having to concentrate all your energy on getting things done and persevering and being proficient and repetitive and, widening your knowledge base. And that also spoke to the advice card further down here with the Ace of Wands, because the Ace of Wands also had the Three of Pentacles attached to it, which is also following in line with that same idea of broadening your knowledge base to be able to resolve some of your problems here. But again, you could even be enjoying new employment with this card here, although I don't see the page coming out there to specifically indicate that there's a message coming through on that front. Then we have the King of Wands. So the King of Wands, again, is about, could be your energy, could be somebody else coming through, but the King of Wands is really strong energy as well, somebody who's really inspiring, somebody who is father figure, power of individuality, somebody who has that leadership quality, who's dramatic energy. Somebody who could be very creative, but also charismatic, independent, theatrical kind of person. Somebody who has a talent that they didn't know they possessed, but again, it also speaks to additional sources of income or a business coming through here as well. So again, take that as you will, but that is, really what's coming through in terms of a person. It could be somebody who also likes to be center stage. It is also followed by I'll just flash that over, by the Sun card, which is clarified also by the Page of Pentacles. So again, with the Sun card, it really speaks to, it's a card of happiness. It is, happiest card in the deck. It is, speaking to you overcoming all through the end, right at the end of April, for all of the battles that you've undertaken during that time, during this time in April. You really have come through it okay, because you now feel more confident. You're able to communicate. There's a sharing. There's positive energy. There's inspiration. The sun illuminates things, so you're starting to see things more clearly. There's more boost of good luck, that kind of thing that's coming through. There's a flow to business energy. It's just overall a happy time, for things to come through. So you've definitely made progress throughout the month of April. So you were able to come through it okay. You were able to find some solutions. And again, with the Page of Pentacles clarifying, and that is the one I needed. The Page of Pentacles is, again, all about, I'll just try to pull the card over, about good news coming through. So the Page of Pentacles was the clarifier for the Sun. And as it is, good news is coming through. It's about those happy things returning. So love, rest, play, money, that kind of thing. It's about that mature attitude, about staying on top of your finances, and that new projects are being favored. So again, I just wanted to clarify these. The last few cards that I pulled, were cards that related to just advice cards overall. So you did have the Ace of Wands, and again, that was it's a speedy energy that's coming through here with the Ace of Wands, and it does speak to ambition, creativity, and about new beginnings and having belief in your abilities. And you're acting on inspirations now. So you're coming up with creative ideas, and it is about that energy, that action, about surrounding those new projects and that urge to create. So it's about action is more important than words at this time, is what that card really represents. And it is an advice card. And again, it is also followed by the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords, swords are about, mental energy. So, and with the Knight, it is also speaking to news coming through as well. And so there is something that's coming through, whether it's by an inspiring thought or something that's coming through to you, but it can represent positive, negative energies as well. But not to rush into things too headlong, but to weigh those decisions out. And it's also about, change can be swift, but to remain upbeat. It's also about just about a lot of activity that's going on there. So it does feel like toward the end of April, there's lots going on there as far as like lots of mental energy, and it is a card of taking action and exploring and communicating and that kind of thing, and about being responsible. But it's also about sometimes being cut off from our feelings. This person could be even a little bit tactless and shrewd and clever, but overall it is a positive card. It is something that, the head is ruling the heart kind of thing. So again, it's still a message that's coming through, and you do have the 9, and 9s are about action and just defending your position, taking action. The 9 of Wands, again, is still a positive card coming through. It is a card that's letting you know that you are able to move ahead. You are prepared and ready to act. You are learning from those life lessons and the things that you went through. You were resourceful throughout the month of April, and you may still have to be into the coming months beyond that. But your focus is on, you're keeping your focus on something. So even if you're feeling a little bit wounded, you have developed some kind of inner self-awareness. You are maintaining your boundaries with this card. And so you clearly were able to draw on some of the earlier message in the earlier parts of April. And it is about just being cautious but persistent. And of course, with persistent and caution, and given the circumstances of the day with the quarantine issues, we also have the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is just about control over your own money and your finances. So using self-control, being a little bit more diligent about your finances. You might be feeling some kind of emotional insecurity rather, and might be resisting some changes, and again, it speaks to boundaries and isolation and being a little lack of not being as open as you might otherwise be. But it also speaks to security, needing that financial security. But it also tells you that you are becoming, or you are financially stable at this point. So again, that was the advice card. You are, you might be fearing change and you're closing off, in the heart space, that kind of thing. But again, it does speak to you being financially secure. So, you don't really need to worry over your money. Just be practical and diligent. And again, you have the clarifier cards for that, which were the 10 of Wands. And you also have, sorry, my arm can't quite reach, the Four of Pentacles. So that was double message on that one. So the 10 of Wands is about moving away from things that burden you, and the heavy, sense of stress and weight that you feel from carrying others, perhaps, other people's issues or other people's burdens. But it can also speak to blocked thinking, that kind of thing as well, and self-blame. You might be just helping too many people, something on that front. But it's just about dealing with your money in a calmer way and be logical. Logic and practicality, very important throughout this reading. So again, and I forgot to tell you about the clarifiers on the Ace of Wands. Again, they were the 8 of Wands and the 2 of Swords, about making a decision, and about walking away from the Ten of Swords, speaking to an end of a cycle, but also with the Three of Pentacles. So again, with the Ace of Wands, it was really telling you that you are on, it's speaking to rapid action, that kind of thing when it's Wands. But again, the combination of those four cards speaks to difficult choices being made. Something needs rapid action. You need to make a decision and you're feeling indecisive. It speaks to taking different levels of knowledge to build something or to resolve the problem. You need to introduce new ideas and experiences to be able to progress. These were all the advice cards, and that was where the Three of Pentacles came in. So that, again, was speaking to that building of knowledge and involving other people. You need to get more resources, more information to be able to solve whatever the issues are that are at hand for you. Anyway, sorry, it was a lengthy reading, but I did want to give you as much information as I possibly could, and to let you know that there is light at the end of that tunnel. Again, just to stay the course, look for your resources, open up to divine. Your answers will come to you. Always, continue to search for things online that you could be doing to make extra money. Every little bit counts. A lot of people taking in bottles and whatever it takes to get you through. And to make ends meet. So again, all the best, and we will talk to you in May, Sagittarius.